PhD from the University of Texas at Austin, and since then he moved to Korea, and he showed a lot of scholarly work in science education, especially on earth science education. Since 2004, he was the professor of the Department of Earth Science Education in Seoul National University, and now he is the Dean of College of Education in Seoul National University. And for the last 2 years, he was the president of the Korean Earth Science Society. And as you know, last night he became the president-elect of the Korean Association for Science Education. Dr. Kim's research agenda are the nature of earth science teaching and learning, and the teacher education program for earth science teachers, and the informal science teaching and learning at the Natural History Museum and Science Center. Today, he will show the integrated understanding of formal and informal science teaching and learning. So, please welcome Dr. Kim with a big hand.
Thank you for introduction, and good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to this session. I also express my sincere thanks for inviting me to this previous session to Kim Song, the president of the KASE, and also the committee members. Today I'm going to talk about integrative understanding of science learning based on my research in the past 3 or 4 years. And to begin with, I'd like to share some photos with you. So we can take a look at 2 pictures. The left side from Europe view is the small garden, maybe in a classroom. And the right side is maybe a tourist attraction, maybe in Africa. I hope to be there now. It's too cold. So the reason I show you these pictures is that we may think about the students and their learning in the classroom, and the situation, the students learning. In the past, we may think that they may be like small garden in a classroom. We can provide some nutrients and maybe sunlight, and then measure what happened. But maybe students are like an animal in this picture. They may have something in the classroom, but at the same time they are wandering around and having other experience from their habitats. And actually, this is a very famous diagram that school learning takes very small part of our learning. So as you can see, 95% only takes up for school learning. And this shows from 8 o'clock to midnight. And this shows the age from the birth to 70 or more years, and this one shows the month. And the pink area is the school education, and this green part is college education. And science education is just a small part of our school education. So informal people always insist that we have to depend on informal learning to make our people to be scientifically literate. But maybe people in formal schooling may have different ideas. And also informal learning insists that it is not just a matter of time. So lifelong means it's just a matter of time, but at the same time, we visit many places. So this is life-wide, and some people are talking about our experience as a life deal. So there are many dimensions even in informal learning. So today I'd like to share our experience to explore young adolescents' science learning in and out of school settings, and think together about the more wider understanding, wider perspective of science learning. And actually, the project we conducted, the idea was heavily relied on my friend who is working at Oregon State University. In 2011, I had a chance to visit Oregon State University as a visiting scholar and met John Fogg and Lindy King. And we had many talks at the time, and we agreed to have some academic collaboration. So I proposed them about our research project, and also he proposed his research project. So we discussed about it, but he won. He insisted that he's beginning a synergies project, and he explained about that and asked me to conduct the project in Korean context. So here is John Fogg and here's Lindy King, and the other people are their colleagues in synergies team. But when I heard his explanation at that time, I was not very sure about the project. It sounds like very different from my past studies, and although the scale was very huge, I was a little bit pessimistic about this project. But anyway, I returned to Korea in early 2012. And then we discussed about the possibilities of this project in Korea with my colleagues, mostly in Seoul Asian University. And these are our synergist team. So we focus on STEAM education, how adolescents' STEAM experience is changing over time. So as this is STEAM, there are science educators, but at the same time we invite people from College of Engineering and Mathematics and someone who also can handle in the art area. And then we try to figure out what we are going to do with this project. So in 2012, we applied for the research fund to the Korea Research Foundation, and very fortunately we succeeded to receive the funding, and we can conduct this study for 3 years. So we summarize our project in this diagram. So we are studying the young adolescents. We chose fourth graders in Korea because after graduating the primary school, it must be very difficult to follow them. So we try to investigate them while they are in primary school. And also we are thinking about some opportunities provided by the communities, like everyday setting, home, mass media, internet, books, and design setting, science centers, museums, art museums, and community setting like library, market, clubs, community center, and formal setting like school and after school. And we are trying to organize a council of the representatives from the providers and science learning opportunities in schools and at the same time in the community. So we are trying to pursue their changes in interest, engagements, and aspirations in science. And with the method of survey and in-depth case study and ABM. And ABM is agent-based modeling. It's a kind of complex modeling, and we're trying to develop some model to explain the students' changes throughout the 3 years. So maybe at that time we expect that we may propose some science education policies, not just in schools but as a whole, including the schools and community. So we presented our research in many conferences, domestic and international conferences. But I think this is almost the first time to summarize all of the research and thinking about the implications of our project. So this is the comparison of the US synergy teams and Korean synergy teams. We try to match as much as possible, but because of the differences of the context, the exact match was almost impossible. So as the US team began in 2011 for 4 years, and then I heard that they received another funding for 5 more years. So they are still ongoing, I guess. But in Korean team, we received the 3 years funding. So we began in 2012, the middle of 2012 to the middle of 2015. Both teams investigate a single cohort. So the US team, the beginning age was 10, and Korean team it was 9. And the US team 4 years and more, and the Korean team in 3 years. And we are trying to determine why and how the young adolescents seek and use learning resources in their communities, in and out of schools, to develop their interest in STEAM. And also we try to invite significant science education providers in the community and also schools. And then trying to make them collaborate to facilitate STEAM learning of the adolescents. And the major focus was science interest because there are many studies that report interest in science significantly drops between ages around 10. And also there are many numerous efforts, especially school-based efforts, to change it, but the problem still persists. So the US team chose Park Rose area in Portland, Oregon, and our team chose Wanak and Dongjak-gu area in Seoul, nearby Seoul National University. But two communities are pretty much different in terms of, how can I say, some identity and the background and the size. Two areas are pretty much different. It seems like Park Rose is more separated from other areas, but Wanak and Dongjak-gu is not so much separated. And we are trying to understand the detailed understanding of their STEAM interest and participation pathways, and we're trying to develop some complex models. So for the first data collection,